And we are WNST. Just Baltimore. Baltimore Positive. We are positively taking the show on the road, as they say. It'll be a big show. We have the Maryland Lottery Crab Cake Tour out on the road. I have the Raven scratch-offs to give away. We gave a bunch away last week. Nobody stood up and told me they won last week at Mama's on the Hash. I was so disappointed because they gave a bunch of tickets. I know somebody in there won and snuck out the back door. I was too busy talking to Scunny's kid. We had a great show last week. All of it brought to you by our friends at the Jiffy Lube Multi-Care. We're back out on the road. So I have the schedule here. Coco's December 4th. Gertrude's December 5th. Fadley's December 12th. Gina Shock's going to join us again in Dundalk on December the 9th. So I have my holiday schedule, and I'm working through this November schedule right now, so I'm getting it all happening. John Martin's about to join us. He has been waiting a long time to feel good about his football team. He usually joins us in his official role as the executive director of all things Maryland Lottery and Gaming. I think this is going to be a 51-49% thing because he's a lifelong Cleveland Browns fan who was licking his baseball wounds last week. But, John, I'll say this, and you can have as much fun with Jameis Winston as you want. I spent last week doing nothing but Cleveland radio about the injury and the salary cap and how they couldn't win. All the Cleveland guys are going to beat us by 3 touchdowns, 4 touchdowns. If you go back and you listen to Luke and I all last week, all of our social media statuses, quarterback who's mobile, hasn't played at all, defense can play a little bit, Jim Schwartz being the wild card, and I did send him a text when I went to Arbutus the other day, being in his hometown of Arbutus, saying, good job. We underestimated the Cleveland Browns here in Baltimore, Maryland, John Martin, and we got our comeuppance on the turf out there on the in the mistake on the lake. I'll say that.
On any given Sunday. And it just happened to be last Sunday. There's not a great amount of pride when you come out of it saying, boy, now we're 2-6. We got them where we want them now.
But it's better than a moral victory. I'll say that.
Yeah, well, that's true. That's true. Yeah, at least you can cash this one. I'm sure somebody did. As the line came down, it started where it was, and then it started to come down. I think people, the smart money, jumped on the points, and then of course it had a life of its own. But that's the way. That's why they play the game. As I'm fond of telling my son, was he's making his picks for the week. If it was that simple, you just mail it in. But sometimes they got to play the game.
Even if you fall asleep and the Dodgers are down 5-0 and you wake up and you see them celebrating in the middle of the Bronx and think to yourself, that's why they play the games, 5 runs in the fifth. So at least we can have this before we get the lottery news, and we shall with John Martin, the executive director of the Maryland Lottery. The Yankees lost. We can all of us own a little piece of Freddie Freeman here this week, I think.
When I get older, I want to be Freddie Freeman. Man, what a week or so he's had. And if you follow the story, if you know anything about him, and the personal struggles that he and his wife and his family had this year, he deserves it. You know what? He deserves it. He earned it. I have simple rules I live by, Nestor, and I'm sure you do as well. The teams that I really despise, I wish when they finally exit whatever it happens to be, the 7th game, 5th game, whatever it is of the World Series, that they twist and they stumble and they look like buffoons
and blow a 5-run lead at home in front of their fans.
Yes, that all happened. So and then to realize that segue to my Cleveland Cavaliers, who are now, as we speak, doing very well. So
I thought you were going to say the Browns are still 2-6, but that's okay. And Joe Flacco is still in Indianapolis. Hey, that was an impressive effort, you must say, right? Like, from a football game perspective, I thought the game would be tougher. And I think when you have special players like Myles Garrett and you have JOK before he got hurt, and Zadarius Smith, who was drafted here, I want to point out, and could be available on the trading deadline this week.
Could be.
Neutralizing Lamar and the football part of that really is what makes it fun. A week ago, we were the best team. They were the worst team. Power rankings. And then they go play the games on Sunday, which leads us to the games that we play here at the Maryland Lottery, including the Ravens scratch-off game. Let's start with the Ravens scratch-off because I always begin with this. First off, in season, it's the Ravens play twice this week, at home this week. Lamar back. We got injuries. We got things going on.
Yeah.
Big week, and it gets ahead of us. But this is your most popular game, and I always bring that up to say that this is This is the Christmas game. This is the big one, as they say, right?
This is a very popular game, the most popular game, I would say. That's probably correct. It's also the most engaging for our fan base because not only do you have one, you have two scratch off tickets, a $2 ticket, a $10 ticket, both with significant cash prizes available, but also both contributing to our fan friendly second chance contests where people can enter My Lottery rewards and input their information and be eligible for experiential prizes. Things that could include like an away trip with the team to New York on December 15th to watch the Giants.
It won't be as much fun
And
as
the
watching the
Ravens.
Yankees lose the World Series, but it's pretty good. Second
It's
place, I would
close.
just say it's close.
You could maybe just take a side trip while you're there. But we also have things that engage the fans during the game. We call it the fan of the game. If you're selected as the lucky fan of the game, you win $1,000 for every touchdown scored by the Ravens. You win another $1,000. And yes, last week, Valerie Vale of Frederick, there were 3 touchdowns scored, so she won a total of $4,000. Coming up on the game with the Broncos, Mariana Johnson of Oakland, Maryland. Not to be confused with Oakland, California. Oakland,
I
Maryland.
hope she's not a Steelers fan. There's a lot of that
Oh,
going on out
well,
there. I'm
there's a
just
lot
saying
there. You
there
can,
is.
yeah, it could
You
be,
know
could
that.
be. Um, but she is the contest. She is the fan of the game for Sunday's game, and then Thursday with the Bungles. W first initial only. W Mitchell of Pikesville, Maryland, is our fan of the game. So both folks are anxiously waiting. They've already won $1,000 for being selected, and they'll get $1,000 for every Ravens touchdown scored in that game.
I like W's chances better. Just W of Pikesville. I just want to say defenses. Broncos, a little stout defense this week. Bengals, might be some offense going on. Two for one this week. 2 football games. Luke's out in Owings Mills. He'll be covering it all. We're going to be bringing the Maryland Crab Cake Tour back out to Owings Mills soon. All of it brought to you by our friends at the Maryland Lottery who have these Raven scratch-offs. A reminder to everybody, download the app. Use the app to get into second chances. You gotta take full advantage. I tell people when I give them these at Mamas on the Hash Shell, don't just scratch it and leave it. Get involved. That's how you win. You've got to play that second chance. You got to take that next step in order to go to New York.
Very, very popular. And all the games. People can go to mdlottery.com because not every ticket has a second chance option, if you will. Although all tickets do contribute to various prizes and promotions. But go to mdlottery.com, check out, for instance, the holiday tickets all contribute to a holiday second chance contest. The Ravens ticket, of course. But then everything contributes to your My Lottery Rewards account. Easy for me to say, where you can have other opportunities for win.
The one I have on the set, I don't know if you can see, is number 52. So I figured that would be
Ooh,
that. Hey, that's a good Ravens ticket.
ooh.
So I figure, and this is probably a lucky one. I'll have this one with me the next time we take the Crab Cake Tour back out on the road. Last time we got together, we had big numbers in jackpots, and no sooner did you and I do the segment, and I put it on the radio, put it on, and I drove into, like, I think it was the Royal Farms, and I looked up, and it was wah, wah, wah. Somebody hit the big one. It was like
Yeah, that'll
Frenchie
happen.
Sanford. The big one got hit last week.
Yeah, that'll happen. There's actually one, the Powerball was one in Georgia. So don't know if they've had a
Might
lucky
be an
person
election won or
conform.
lost in Georgia this week, too. Georgia's important. So
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. So as we speak, yeah, the Powerball jackpot was reset and it's working its way back up, which of course triggers our jackpot reset promotion, which means if you're buying a Powerball ticket within 2 weeks after it is hit, you may win on a random basis a Mega Millions ticket as a freebie, and then it works the other way as well. Once the Mega Millions jackpot is hit, following 2 weeks, we reset the jackpot, and for every ticket you buy, you may get a chance to win the other jackpot game. So
can
lots
I
of fun.
ask you with that? And I don't
Mhm.
want to plug Coke or Pepsi or RC Cola or Shasta for that matter.
But you just did. But go
But I
ahead.
just did. Uh, on the Coke Pepsi of Powerball and Mega, do people have a preference in the game, or is it literally about the jackpot?
That's hard to say. I mean, personally, before I became the director of the Maryland Lottery, and I was just John Martin,
Citizen.
international man of mystery. It was something where it wouldn't matter to me as a player. I would chase the jackpot, whichever one was the highest. Um, and the games have kind of morphed a little bit closer together than they were back then. There were some distinction to that. Back when I played, it was in Ohio. I was a young lad in Ohio of legal age. You could only buy Mega Millions. You had to go to another state to buy Power. I had to go to Pennsylvania.
See, we
And
were a
then back
Powerball state,
several
right?
years ago, back in
Powerball came here
2010,
first, I think.
yes, no, no, no. Maryland was Mega.
Was it
Maryland was
really?
Mega,
Okay, all right,
and
fair
then
enough. I didn't know
Powerball.
that.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. But then around 2010, the states could then sell both, so it minimized the running across state lines, which is probably a good thing. But now, and I don't think we've gotten into too much. If we'll get into it again as we get closer. Mega Millions will be changing. They'll be changing their re-engineering, tweaking the product, if you will. So beginning in April, Mega Millions will be new and improved, and we'll talk more about that as we get closer to it. But between now and then, it still is rolling as the game that all of our players know and love, with a significant jackpot right now as we speak, nearly $300 million.
John Martin is here. He's the executive director of all things Maryland Lottery and Gaming. And we always tell please do this responsibly. I've been seeing a lot of stories of folks, especially football season. We get into it right now. If you think you have a problem, if you love somebody or know someone or work with someone who has a problem, 1-800-GAMBLER is the place to get that resource. I hold this ticket up a lot, number 52, this Ravens ticket on my screen. And I actually held it up for Luke earlier this week. And I was promoting something, and I said, yeah, Luke, they don't have sniffers this year. And I'm like, oh, John's going to be mad at me again. Scented tickets. The holiday promotions are here. We featured them last week. Ho, ho, ho. You have some peppermints. And I told Luke, I'm very disappointed because throughout the holiday season last year, I had the peppermint and I had the gingerbread, and I kind of kept them separated. The gingerbread made my bag smell like a warm Christmas holiday oven.
You just wanted to hug it, didn't you? You just wanted to hug that.
We don't have any sniffers this year. You didn't give me any sniffers. I want sniffers this year.
Now, Nestor, I told you our $10 snowflake tripler smells like snowflakes.
What does a snowflake smell like?
Spend $10 and find out.
All right, there you go. Maybe I win $1 million. Who knows?
Who knows? Who knows?
Tell me about those holiday tickets,
Could
John.
be. But, people can go to mdlottery.com to see the entire lineup. I'm sorry?
I said, tell me about the entire lineup. Yeah, tell me about the holiday lineup.
We do have a yes. I'm sorry. We had a little delay there going on. So yeah, we have the whole lineup. You can go to mdlottery.com and find them all at the $1 price point. Gift tag cash in the shape of a gift tag, suitable for gifting and attaching right to the present when we share that with a special someone. $2, it's gold outside. Our $3 ticket, which is not scented, is peppermint payout. But that's been a popular ticket. We've had that now for several years in terms of in the lineup, and people tend to gravitate that. I would say of all the holiday tickets, having the ability to have that ticket year after year, it provides some familiarity, and people like that around the holidays. So $3 peppermint payout, top price $30,000. At the $5 price point, holiday luck doubler, $50,000 top prize. $10 snowflake tripler, smells like snowflakes, top prize $100,000. And our $20 holiday themed win $100, $200, or $500 ticket. That again is a very popular ticket where the prizes are only $100, $200, or $500 tickets winners. But that is now themed with the Christmas ornaments, holiday ornaments, the third edition of that game. So fans will certainly find some familiarity with all of those holiday tickets at mdlottery.com and at 4,300 retailers around the state.
Ho, 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 as they say. I mean, I'm just getting through the pumpkin spice and the apple cider donuts and all that stuff. And here comes all the peppermint. As long as they give me eggnog, I officially now it's November. I'm allowed to think eggnog. I'm allowed to think turkey. I'm allowed to think even like mincemeat pie. Don't ask me. I had an older mother, but never fruitcake for me on the holiday menu. John Martin is here. He is the executive director of all things lottery and gaming. John, events this time of year, I know you get these scratch offs, even though we don't have anything scented or sniffy this year for me. I know Roz, Gail, everybody that does the wheel. We talked about that Oyster Recovery Partnership event I did last month. We've had all sorts of fall events, but I know as we get into, it's a little chillier out. Maybe we move inside a little bit, but tons of holiday celebrations and stuff you guys are a part of at the Maryland Lottery.
We do, and you can go to our calendar at mdlottery.com. And November time is kind of a little bit of a transitional month. Yeah, it's a little nip in the air, sometimes a little chilly to be outside, but it's clearly is football season. So we talked about it earlier in the segment, but we will be at the Ravens Walk both Sunday for the Broncos and Thursday evening versus the Bengals. So look for us there on your way into M&T Bank Stadium. We will also be involved with the Terps coming up as they host the Rutgers Scarlet Knights. How's Rutgers doing this year? Do you know?
I do not know. I just found out about this Indiana thing and the whole college. I mean, the kids in Maryland storming the
Yeah.
field when they beat USC. I wasn't sure it wasn't South Carolina, but it was the real USC. But it wasn't like OJ or Matt Leinart or
Yeah,
it wasn't any of that.
yeah, but you know what? When you get a blue blood program like that and you beat them, yeah, I get it. I can understand that the enthusiasm. I don't condone any of the running
They beat a
around.
3-3 team. By the way, the number one, because I know you care about this in the Maryland Lottery, the number one traffic piece I had on social media this month was that I put up the picture of the kids storming the field, and I just said, come on, man. I mean, it's one thing for Vanderbilt to beat Alabama and take that goalpost down the West End all the way down to like you beat
And
a
then what?
three
What
and
do they
three
do with it?
team. I don't know
What do
what
they?
they did with it, but it's a long walk. I've walked that, and I saw that was like a webcast. They were taking the that was the greatest goalpost drag in the history of goalpost. They didn't storm the field. They took the goalpost 2.3 miles down to the river. It was like a Tommy Boy episode, right? Met him down by the
Ah,
river. It's true. It is. I've made you laugh for real. John
well,
Martin is here. We're in a terrible delay, but nonetheless, the college football thing, people get excited about all this, right?
they do, and they get excited for the local teams as well. And I guarantee you, there will be no goalposts uprooting at the Morgan State Howard game November 23rd. We enjoy supporting all of Maryland's teams any way we can. And every once in a while, in addition to our presence with the Terps, we'll be seen and out and about in Morgan State and Howard on Saturday, the 23rd. You can find us there as well.
All right. Well, when you're in the Morgan campus, you are one left-hand turn away from Coco's Pub, one of our great sponsors. So get over and listen. Anybody can get the crab cakes at Coco's. John, because we're friends, you're not shellfish intolerant or anything weird like that, or can you eat shrimp, or do you not like shrimp?
I have never met a shrimp I did not
All right. Well,
like.
we're going to take you to Coco's and get you. It begins with a K, coconut with a K, Coco shrimp. They hand breaded coconut, and they
Mm.
serve it with this crazy spicy like raspberry. It's
Ooh,
delicious, but it's
ooh.
right around the corner from the Morgan State campus. And I tell everybody, the crab cakes for sure. Get the crab cakes. Everybody knows the Croco's crab cake. Don't go to sleep on those coconut shrimp. Don't go to sleep on that cream of crab soup. I like that Greek salad. So come on over. It's our sponsor. We're gonna get the Maryland Crab Cake Tour. We're at Coco's. Speaking of the Maryland Crab Cake Tour, presented by the Maryland Lottery, December the 4th, we're gonna be at Coco's right off the Morgan State campus. So if they do pull the goalpost down over there at Morgan, take him over to Coco's and leave him right there for Marcella, and we'll celebrate accordingly. College football season, I just got to say this, John. You're an Ohio State guy and like one of the blue
Yes.
blood programs and like all of that. This NIL thing for all of
Oh,
college sports,
please.
maybe it may. I have long hair. I'm not too old a guy, but like I don't get it, and I'm having a
Yeah.
real struggle with it. Right?
Yep, yep. I mean that's probably tough for someone more knowledgeable than I am on it, but yeah, I am definitely old school when it comes to this kind of stuff. I just don't understand it, and I don't understand the portal. I don't even know what the portal
Oh,
is.
the portal. Don't get me
And
started
and
on the portal.
and that, yeah, I mean, wasn't that a Star Trek thing? Didn't you get in a portal and go somewhere in time or something?
Maybe
What
you
was it?
did. The only thing I mentioned this actually on the crab cake tour at Costas. I'm wearing my Costas shirt.
Yep.
I had a guy, and you can appreciate this because you went to the Richfield Coliseum in Cleveland as a young man, right? So,
Loved it.
right,
Loved it.
it's where the Cavs played, where Larry Nance played, like all of that, right? The Cleveland Crunch played there. They had a different name then. They were the Force.
The
They were the
Force.
Force. And so I went to the Richfield Coliseum once in my life, and I saw the Cavs play the Suns one night. Suburban. The Capitol Center was our thing, right?
Yep.
And Baltimore and Washington, you know this because you're in the middle of this Commander, Raven, the National, whatever. Even with the Caps and the Wizards, there are people in Baltimore didn't like them, but we all went to the Capitol Center. And I had a guy who did a huge coffee table book on the history of the Capitol Center and its impact from having Elvis and Barbara Streisand and presidential thing, like all of this stuff. But I had him out a couple of weeks ago, and we were just talking about like how the games change and how things change, and we're pining away for the old days and all of that stuff. But I did mention the only time I ever heard the word portal, Portal, in my life, it was on every Capitol Center ticket. They didn't call them doors or gates, they called them portals. So on every Capitol
Ah.
Center ticket, it said enter portal. And I said to the dude who wrote the book, I'm like, portal? Where else do you use the word portal in life? And now I'm thinking, there it is. You just told me the college portal. That's the new portal, right?
Hmm. Do you think he does a book? Did he book on the Richfield Coliseum?
I don't know. Did anything famous really ever happen there? With anything?
It opened and then it closed and then they took it down. It's been returned to a field of uh
Nothingness. Yes.
nothingness.
Yeah, I went because I went to Blossom and they were very close
Yeah.
together. They were
Yep. Oh yeah.
nearby.
Yeah.
And Blossom was such a beautiful, oh my God, I love Meriwether, but I love Blossom. And it turns out Blossom was like this incredible Kent State like forest project.
Yeah.
No, I love that the colleges come together in Ohio and make things happen other than dotting the O and hang on, Sloopy. So
Okay.
I know that much about college
Technically you
football.
dot the I.
Did I dot
You
the
don't
O?
you don't dot the O.
I already said sniffers and offended you in this thing. So
I know.
what's one more
Yeah.
thing I said that's
Put it
wrong?
on the tab. Put it on
John
the bill.
Martin, he's a man of numbers. He gets it right. When you win, he pays up. And when it says CMD Lottery, you won a lot of money. Our friends at the Maryland Lottery give us these Raven scratch offs. And I will say this, I do feel like it's seasonal now. Tis the season. We've got holiday unscented peppermints to give away. I do feel a little like Santa Claus, a little like Chris Kringle. When I give these out, I walk into Mama's on the half shell, I walk into Costas, and I give them out. Everyone beams when you give them a free lottery ticket and a chance to win because everyone loves to win. So make sure you're downloading the app so you don't have to ask me how I play the game because I'm just going to get the scanner out on you. And if it says MD Lottery, I'm going to send you directly down to it's right here, the Montgomery Wards building to see John Martin. He's executive director of all things Maryland Lottery and Gaming. They have a lot of winners. You can hear all the winner stories and see all the winner stories up at mdlottery.com. Good luck to our two contestants in Oakland and Pikesville. I'm just hoping we get out of this thing at least 6-4, if not 7-3. Ravens, 2 games this week. Lots of games at the Maryland Lottery. John, I appreciate you. I'll see you next week. And next week, the Browns won't have beaten the Ravens, and we can all hate on the Bengals together. It'll be fun.
That's a deal. That's a deal.
John Martin is the executive director of all things Maryland Lottery and Gaming. We encourage everyone to play, know your limits, play responsibly, and if you have a problem, 1-800-GAMBLER. And it's that time of the year as we're getting into the holidays, stuff like that. Please seek some help, get some help. We know how to get it. I am Nestor. He's John. We're WNST. AM 1570, Towson, Baltimore. We never stop talking concerts and football and baseball and winning a lot of money with the lottery.